Hello, everybody. Good morning to us all. Welcome to Olga channel. As long as God approves. Today we are going to look at another question on currency derivative. I pray that God helps you to understand this question. So this question is kind of like the other one I did in my previous video, which you can check out. But then it has some kind of content that I want to explain so that I'll be able to better understand it. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So this is the question. A trader buys a futures contract for 500,000 euros that expires in 3 months at a price of 80 dollars per euro. If the price of the euro at the time of expiration is 0.85 dollars per euro, what is the profit or loss for the trader? Assuming 7 contracts are awarded with a margin 11.25%, what will be the margin? What would the margin requirements be? Okay, so like I explained in the previous video, futures, the previous video covered forward contracts, and this is a futures contract. So with futures contract, it's similar to the forward contract, but then with futures contract, it is traded on the stock exchange. That is, it is organized and it is standardized, right? So you go to the stock exchange and then you buy or you sell on that stock exchange futures contract. So this trader decides to buy a futures contract for 500,000 euros that will expire in 3 months. So he has gone to the stock market, seen a different contract, and decides that okay, I'm buying this futures contract, right? That means in the future I'll be buying 500,000 euros from the other party in that contract. Okay, so that's what this means, that the trader is going to buy 500,000 euros from the other party in this particular contract, and the contract will expire in 3 months. And then the price that they've agreed for the contract is $0.80 per euro. That means the trader is dealing in dollars, or the trader's home currency is dollars. So the trader is the one buying, but since he's buying, he will buy with dollars, right? And every euro that the trader would want to buy from the other party, or she will pay $0.80 for it. So if the price of the euro at the time of expiration, that means at the end of the 3 months, is $0.85 per euro. So that means at the end of the 3 months, if the trader is to buy it at that spot rate or at the price at the 3 months, he's going to pay $0.85 for 1 euro. And they are saying what is the profit or loss for the trader? Assuming 7 contracts are awarded with a margin 11.25%, what will be the margin requirement? So let's dive into the solution. So first, before you solve these questions that has quite a number of figures, like there are questions you see a lot of figures, bring out the items from them so as to make it easy for you to understand and also solve the question. So the items from the question: one contract value is what, 500,000 euros. The time of expiration is 3 months. The futures price or rate is what, $0.80 per euro. The spot price per rate is what, $0.85 per euro. The margin requirement is 11.25%, and the number of contracts is equal to 7. So solution 1. So now we have to determine if that the total cost of buying at the spot rate. So if the spot rate, so suppose the individual or the trader didn't enter into any futures contract, and then the person at the end of the 3 months, the person wants to buy euros from the market. The person will buy it at the spot rate, that's the rate working in the market at the end of the 3 months. So if the person is to buy that 500,000 euros, right, how much would it cost the person to buy? Because the person is in the US dealing in dollars, right? So it will cost the person, that's the $0.85, right, times 500,000. So the total cost of buying at the spot rate will be what, $425,000. So now that the person has entered into a futures contract, and then there was an agreed price, what will be the cost to the person if the person is buying at that agreed price, right? So it will cost the person, so it's that $0.80 times the 500,000, which is what, $400,000. So if the person is using the futures price that in the contract he entered into, then it means that the person would incur $400,000 rather than $425. So what will be the profit to this person? So it will be the spot rate, which is the cost at the spot rate minus what, the cost at the futures rate. So if the person was, now that the person is not buying at the spot rate, right? And then the spot rate is lesser than the spot rate is greater than the futures price. The person is going to make a profit, because now imagine if the person buys the 500,000 euros for that one contract from the other party in the futures contract. The person is paying $400,000. If he go and sells this 500,000 euros that he has gotten in the futures market, and another person is buying it from him at the spot rate, he's going to get $425,000, right? So the person is going to gain, right? So that's the analogy behind it. But then it's just the spot rate, that the total cost at the spot rate minus total cost at the futures rate. This is the $425,000 minus the $400,000, and you get $25,000. So this trader is going to make a profit of $25,000, or let's say this trader is going to save for himself $25,000 because he didn't go and buy the 500,000 euros in the market for 425,000, but he was able to secure and hedge against that risk of fluctuation, and he was able to buy it at $400,000. So he has saved himself $25,000. Please, I hope you get it. If you have any question, just put it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help another person. Alright, so solution 2. So now that we are looking at the total contract value, right? So the contract value is equal to the contract size and the number of contracts. So sorry, I wrote contract, but it's contract, right? So as I said earlier, one contract is the 500,000 euros. We are buying 7, so it's what? Multiplication, and then you are going to get 3,500,000 euros. Okay, so the total cost. So after you've discovered your total contract value, that's the value of the contract you are buying. That means at the end of the 3 months, the total euro that you want to have will be the 3,500,000 euros, right? But then before you get that, you have to pay. And since the trader is in the US, the person will be dealing in dollars, right? So what will be the cost to the person? So we know that every one euro is what will cost the person or the trader $0.80 So you multiply the $0.80 to the 3,500,000. Someone asked, why not the 0.85? Because when you enter into the futures contract, or basically in futures contract, the moment you enter, to prevent the risk of default, each person is expected to call a margin account, and the margin account is based on the price that you agreed on. Because don't forget, in futures contracts, you don't have a choice not to exercise or not. You have to exercise. So to ensure that you don't default and then cause any issues, you have a margin account where you yourself put in some money or some equity inside. So since your equity is already inside at the point, you will not default the contract. Else if you default, you lose the equity, and you wouldn't want that. So that's basically why you hold your margin account. So to find the total cost to the person, you have to use the 0.80, because that's the initial, or that's the futures price, or at the end they entered into, right? So the initial margin requirement will be the margin requirement, right, times the total cost to the buyer. So the buyer will be expected to hold $315,000 in the margin account as equity, or as a form of equity. We get it. So that's what will the person will be expected to have, right, in his or her pocket or something, right? All right, so that's basically what this video is about, just to help you understand a different side of the contract, the forward and the futures. And then in the next video, I'll look at example on the call option, right? You can watch my previous video on call option, put option, to be able to understand what these are. And then I also had a video on an example on the forward, right, contract. You can also look at that. And then any question you have, just put it in the comment section. I'll gladly help. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed. Till meet next time. Bye for now. Bye.